Department of Basic Education is also looking to expand the inclusion of sign language within the school setting to be part of the curriculum and to give the language more recognition. So what we thought we'd do today is invite somebody from the deaf community to join us in studio to talk about the importance of these developments and to talk about what this recognition means for the deaf community, but also to talk to you, our listeners, about learning sign language and why it's important and how you can go about doing so. I hope we're going to have time for me to learn a couple of phrases as well at the end of the interview. And what we've done to facilitate that is we are streaming this particular interview live on the CapeTalk Facebook page. So if you would like to know how to greet somebody, to say please or thank you, for example, you are going to learn with me and my guest as your teacher in a few minutes' time. That guest with us in studio is the Western Cape Provincial Director of Deaf SA, Jabaar Cassiem Mohamed, assisted by translator Marsan Neertling. It's a very warm welcome to the show and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so very much, and it's an honor to be here.
Thank you, Jabaar. How important is this development for the deaf community, that sign language is close to being made an official language in South Africa?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for that specific question, because there's quite a bit of talk about it. A lot of people are not really seeing sign language. But also at this point, I am a male, just so that you know, and my interpreter today is a female. So you're hearing a female voice, but I am a man talking about this, and it's just about access.
Yeah.
I wanted to give you an example of how important it is to have access for us. So the importance of sign language being recognized as a 12th official language, as you've mentioned, has caused a lot of stir in our community. We've been waiting for so many years. We have been trying since 2007 to approach government, parliament. We've done an MOU. We've done, as groups, we walk to parliament. We've gone through various avenues to try and get the support. We've sent it to the review committee for checking the terminology within the Justice Department to make sure that all our documentation was in place as well. Everything we've done has led up to this moment where we can say now we are this much closer to having South African Sign Language as the new official language in South Africa. It is ready for Parliament to approve. It's not official yet. So a lot of people have misunderstood the announcements that it is official already, and it's not. It is still going through the final steps. We are now waiting for public comment to say yay or nay. Please don't say nay.
I was going to say, obviously, we're hoping it's going to be a resounding yay from the public. And I can't see why anybody would not want to say yay to the proposal. Maybe you could answer that question. Are there people who think it's a bad idea, Jabaar?
Haven't really come across them. Some people might say no because they don't understand that sign language is a language and what it means. They might feel, it's not as important as others. However, it's a beautiful language, and in South Africa, we believe our countrymen will definitely support us. It is our human right as much as everyone else's. We all have a little bit of deafness in our hearts.
How many people are using sign language in South Africa? Do we know?
We have some numbers. It's about 600,000 people who use sign language. But in totality, about 1.4 people have some form of hearing loss. However, 600,000 people use sign language as their mode of communication, yes.
It's a substantial number. It's a really big number. Now, the moves from the Education Department, equally important here. I know we did an interview a couple of years ago about introducing it as a matric subject in deaf schools specifically. But what is new from there? Do I get the impression that this is going to become accessible to anybody, anyway, in any school in South Africa who wants to learn sign language?
Yes. So at the time, many years ago, we had it implemented in schools as a subject, as a home language subject for deaf schools, deaf children. And it now is recognized as a language to allow them to also carry on with university applications. Right. Now we are super excited because it will now become more accessible to mainstream schools, which means that a deaf child can also access a mainstream school. DEFSA will definitely be working towards building partnerships with tertiary institutions as well as the DBE to make sure that this will be implemented correctly in all the hearing schools that are interested in implementing it as a subject. So lots of work ahead.
What I love about this is, yes, it means deaf children getting better access to mainstream schools. It also means hearing children in mainstream schools being exposed to sign language and encouraged to learn it. What would that mean if that was to happen, Jabaar, if more hearing community members were to take it as a subject, make the effort to learn even a few years of sign language in the school environment? What would that mean for the deaf community?
It would definitely mean a lot to us. The world will become more accessible to us. For example, we are using a sign language interpreter now to do all the voicing for my signing. But maybe one day we won't need Marsan because you can sign to me directly. Yeah. And there's no need to have a third person in the room. But because we understand each other, sharing a common language. Other accessibility would also include if I'm sick and I need to go see the doctor. I then have a doctor who can sign to me. It's a confidential moment that I want to share just with my doctor. Sure, our interpreters do sign a code of ethics, making sure that they don't share information that is confidential. But it would be nice to go without one. Then there are also hearing people who can sign, and then they are joining a deaf community and everybody can sign. Then when you can't sign as an individual, you'll be the one left out. So we're really looking forward to everyone signing soon.
Just for those who might have joined us late to the conversation, with me in studio, I have two guests this afternoon. Jabaar Cassiem Mohamed is the Provincial Director of Deaf SA in the Western Cape and is being assisted in this interview by interpreter Marsan Nettling. And we're talking about the news that there have been two substantial developments really around the use of sign language in South Africa. Firstly, Cabinet has approved a proposal to include it as a 12th official language. It still has to go through the parliamentary approval process and public comment, but it's a big step closer to becoming reality. The other news is that the Department of Basic Education is looking to expand the inclusion of sign language in the curriculum for all schools, not just for deaf schools, which means a hard of hearing or deaf child would have better access to mainstream schooling, and a hearing child in a mainstream school will have the opportunity to choose to take sign language as a subject. Now, in terms of inclusivity, a lovely message in on our WhatsApp line from Hilary in Rondebosch saying how much she loves I Love Coffee, the coffee shop in Claremont, which is upskilling and employing people within the deaf community. The best coffee and baked goods, but I've also learnt so much and learning to sign while ordering the coffee and baked goods there. Hilary in Rondebosch. We've, of course, had I Love Coffee on the show before, and I remember one of their baristas was one of the award winners in a big competition a few months ago. Jabaar, having something like that normalizes the use of sign language, that encourages the hearing community to embrace it, is that important to you? Do you wish more of that was happening in society?
Absolutely. We need more of that normalizing. When we go anywhere, when we have someone who is looking for a job, that they should have the exact same opportunity to go to the same job interviews. So we can not have all the people watching us going, you look so weird when you use your hands, but rather to realize that we are absolutely normal, you know. It's the exposure to our language, exposure to our culture that will normalize it. At the moment, we are recognizing English, Afrikaans, isiXhosa, and all other African languages. However, sign language has not been given the same recognition. But this will definitely happen soon.
Fingers crossed. Interesting question on the WhatsApp line. One of our listeners asking whether sign language is an international language. Does it change from country to country? Is South African Sign Language the same as British or French Sign Language, for example?
Yes. The answer is no. Sign language is not universal. In England, in the UK, they use British Sign Language, and in America, they have American Sign Language. New Zealand has their own, and in South Africa, we have our own because we also have our own structure and our own signs.
Fascinating.
So we can meet up with someone and maybe share the same finger spelling or one-handed spelling alphabet, then we can definitely spell some words. Somehow we always find a way to bridge the gap between the two countries and find a way to sign to each other. It's very easy to assimilate to someone else, but eye contact being the most important thing. Seeing how they might, sign a specific thing, mother or mother or mother. These are 3 different ways of signing it. It depends on the culture and why that sign is created. But we find a way to understand each other across borders. The signs are different, though.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. What you've said about eye contact strikes me as so important for communication, full stop, not just in sign language. There's so much that we miss in the way we address one another because we're not taking the time to look in the face, to really genuinely take the time to listen to what a person is saying, whether that is being expressed verbally or with the hands. So I absolutely love that comment. Now, for those who would like to learn sign language, somebody's asked on our WhatsApp line whether there are any apps that might be helpful, whether there are schools that are offering sign language courses. Jabaar, if a hearing person or a hard of hearing person decided that they wanted to learn sign language as a complete beginner, where would they start?
At the moment, for the Western Cape that I am aware of, there are two. At Stellenbosch University, they are offering a basic entry-level short course in South African Sign Language. Then Deaf SA also offers something online. If you contact us, we are more than happy to refer you to any other areas that you are based in. But those are the two main ones that I am aware of. There are sometimes some deaf community organizations in Cape Town, like DCCT, Deaf Community of Cape Town, or some other organizations that will also offer basic signing courses.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, I think it's time for my lesson. I did ask whether Jabaar would teach me a couple of basic phrases, and it's hard to know where to start. Jabaar, line me up. I would really like to know. I'm assuming a wave is a greeting as it is anywhere in the world, and a wave goodbye. But how would one say please and thank you in sign language?
Certainly. So it's very important for you to know that there are 5 things. Hand shape, movement, the location where you place your hand, and your palm orientation, and your facial expressions. Okay. Those are the 5 parameters. This is hello.
Hello.
And hello. Do you see the facial expression changes? The movement, it's like this, not like this. So it's just a quick hello and a hello. How are you?
How are you is
from
the
chest
hands
forward.
From the heart out, okay.
If you look at me first, look at me, touch your chest area and pull forward into a fist. And you need to show me in your face, are you really interested to know how I am?
Yeah. Well,
this is thank you.
Thank you
is thank you. A flat hand.
Okay.
Not over your lips, because that would be a kiss.
Okay. From the chin.
From
right?
the chin forward.
Okay.
And please, very similar to thank you, just a closed hand at the end. No, look at the hand shape. Now you're signing old.
Oh, goodness.
Keep the hand
no
flat. The hand needs
flat?
to stay flat and close it in a fist.
I'm learning, and I hope our listeners are watching on
thumb
Facebook
out.
as well, with the thumb out. Okay. So,
and the other one I think you wanted to know?
I'd love to know how to say, can I help you?
Help.
Help is so it's a thumbs up on a fist on a flat hand.
Yes, look at your own hands. Look at what you're doing. Okay, from your chest, moving forward, helping you. Okay. It's not English or Afrikaans or Xhosa sign language. It is a South African sign language. I'm not signing how can I help you.
Yeah.
This way, just this one sign means how can I help you.
It's very economical. I quite like that.
Yes, definitely.
I think my boss would be cross with me if I didn't ask you to at least show us the sign for CapeTalk, please, Jabaar. How do I say CapeTalk? Join the conversation.
Okay, I was thinking a bit earlier. As deaf people don't really use radio for obvious reasons, we would say radio, Cape, talk.
And talk is the 2 fingers over the
talk,
thumb, okay?
It can be the full hand or the 2 fingers. So Cape, like the Table Mountain Cape. Radio.
Radio for turning the buttons on the radio.
Yep.
And
so
talk.
Cape, radio, talk. Yeah. It's a bit long. However, we don't have a specific sign name for CapeTalk yet. They give sign names to different things and different people, but not really radio, because it's not part of our world to listen to radio. If there's an English word, or rather, maybe later radio will become accessible to deaf people, and then you'll have a sign name that's used a lot. Then also, when you see deaf people, you can do this sign. It means I love you.
Okay.
It's not sideways, because that becomes a gangster sign.
Ooh, okay.
So make sure your palm faces forward. It's an emotional supportive sign, so you need to also show it in your face that you really love the person you're showing it to.
Jabaar, I've really loved learning from you today, and I hope our listeners have kept along with us on the Facebook feed and will watch back and maybe practice some of the signs that you've done so well and I've done so badly. But thank you so much for joining us today to talk to us. My final question is where to reach Deaf SA. If a listener would like to find out more about the developments around sign language or reach out to you for advice, where should they go?
You can contact me. My email address is provincial director, one word, .wc at defsa.co.za.
provincialdirector.wc at defsa.co.za.
That's correct. WhatsApp number only is also 072 477 1852. Please don't call me on that number. No one will answer.
Very well.
WhatsApp only.
072 477 1852. Jabaar Cassiem Mohamed, thank you very much. And Masan Nietling, thank you so much for your assistance today. It's been an honor having you with us.
Is there something can I also say thank you to the interpreter who came from Stellenbosch University as a community service. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'll echo that. Thank you for your help today.
Lunch with Pippa Hudson
on Cape Talk.